Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. Excited for today's guest. She is the queen of online business growth, and she helps heart-centered entrepreneurs to build profitable businesses online. Excited to be rocking out today with Melanie Rhora. Hey, Melanie, are you ready to rock?
Hey, Tim. Yes, I am.
Perfect. We always start off on a good note. So tell me a story of success in your business that we can be inspired by.
So I've been in business for 12 years, which is something to celebrate right away. And I think my greatest success, though, is the light bulbs that I see go off in my clients when we're doing training. It just makes me so happy. So we run a whole bunch of different training programs. When I started out, I was actually a digital marketing agency, just like you, and now we do mostly training.
Amazing. Yeah, it really is cool to just see the experiences that people are getting and that you see them succeed and you're like, yeah, that's why I do this, right?
That's it exactly. I mean, I've built over 25,000 web pages in the last since 2002. We won't even count those years. In the last 5 years, we've earned our clients over $120 million in revenue just from the digital marketing tactics and tech that we've taught them.
So you counted them all?
That's just the people who've told me. So,
Wow.
I mean, it could be a lot higher than that, but that's, just what we've been told.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I've been doing websites as well for the last 10 years and I don't count. I wish I did.
But, I didn't count until last year. I had a mentor ask me, how many websites do you think you've made? I'm like, I have no idea. So I went out and I counted. So it's a rough estimate. And then I started counting from that point on. But it's over 25,000 web pages.
Well, I think that's some good advice for people getting started right now. Start counting right away because it's way easier to keep track of it from the beginning. And then, of course, now you have a registrar of clients that you've done business with that you can go back to later on. They're going to need a refresh after a few years, right? So yeah, I wish I had tracked better, I think. But
me too. You lose track of some of the really great clients just because you're so busy with other clients. And I think that was, one of the hard lessons I learned.
Well, and I think that kind of like it leads into the exact the whole point of this podcast. I've been self-employed, work from home now for about 15 years. And back then it just wasn't really serious, I guess. People they just didn't. Well, I know they didn't take me seriously, but I don't even think I took myself seriously that it was a real business. It was just, I was just building some websites or I was just, helping some IT clients. But working from home and having a home business is a serious business that could be handled seriously, right?
Oh, absolutely. And when you decide that it's a serious business and you put in the time and the hours, it grows exponentially.
So much faster. Yeah, it is. And over time, as you get more confident in your business, it just takes these like exponential leaps because all of a sudden now, that part is serious in my business. So now, and then it just keeps going from there, right?
Exactly.
So now you've been doing this for a while, and with the good note, there's some bad notes every once in a while too, right? Things don't go as planned. And, I want to make sure that people understand that it's not all sunshine and roses. Sometimes things don't go as well as you'd like them to, and that's okay. And so I'm wondering, can you share with us something that really did not go as planned and how you recovered from it or how we can avoid it?
Oh, so I've got a really great story for you, actually. So when we first started, like I said, we were a marketing agency, but I only worked with really big organizations at that time. So I did 55 websites for Western University. We were building big, ugly. I did the big, ugly stuff. And then I realized it just wasn't making me happy anymore. And so I decided I was going to switch gears and work with entrepreneurs and small businesses and make small business websites. So I started, doing that. And I realized it takes a whole lot more of them to fill the coffers than the big guys that we were working with. And so I was taking on every single client who was coming to my door. It didn't matter if they were a good fit or not. It was like, I need to keep my staff busy because at that point I had 7 staff members. And we had moved actually from out of my house because I had 3 staff members in my house coming in. This was not working. And it got to the point where no one wanted to answer the phone because we had so many of those. We call them the heck no client. So if someone's a heck no client, the advice I can give you is don't take it. It's not worth it. Better clients will come through the door, and good clients will come and you'll have to turn them away because you've taken on all these heck no clients. So you're better off to say no to the ones that aren't a good fit.
Melanie, I hate to say it, but I think everybody out there is going to have to experience that one on their own because I didn't believe it either. But man, the heck no clients, eh?
That's it. I had so many heck no clients in 2015 that every time the phone rang, I would black out and fall over like one of those fainting goats because I had adrenal fatigue.
Wow.
So like, you don't want to get to that point. It's like the worst thing that can happen in your business.
Yeah.
Because now you have to actually, I decided I was going to close. I'm like,
Wow.
I hate my business. So that's when I figured out that I needed to be working with my ideal clients.
Yeah.
So when we announced that we were closing, the good clients all stuck around. They were like, you know what, you are too good. We don't want you to leave. Maybe you could work with just us. And then all the heck no clients, they like scattered like rats off a sinking ship. So it was really awesome because now in my marketing, I figured out what all those clients had in common. And I use that to bring in new clients.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. It is never going to be worth the money, no matter how much they offer you. I would beat this one. Like we could have a whole entire episode about this particular topic because I think, well, probably everybody goes through it unless I don't know. I don't know any entrepreneur that hasn't had a bad client that they regret taking on. I think it's just one of those things, right?
Yeah, we all do it. We all do it.
I think it's probably the overconfidence that we have. We're just like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be worth it. I'll be able to handle this. No problem. And it doesn't work that way usually, right?
Well, that's it. If they're not a good fit personality wise for you, it's never going to work out. I took on one website client who couldn't actually look at a computer screen. So I was printing the web pages and taking them to his office so he could look at them. And then he's like, I don't like this. It's not in color. It's in color on the website. It was like the worst project ever. And then he didn't even pay. So
yep.
You want to pick your clients well.
Yep. So then now this, is this something that you're going to be talking about later on in your guest solo about this guide on how to pick your better clients? Or?
Absolutely. Actually, okay. It is.
Perfect. So. Okay. Well, then we'll save that one for later because that's very important. In the meantime, though, let's talk about fans. Let's talk about getting eyeballs on it. Because I mean, the one thing that I'm getting out of your story is that you were actually able to bring a lot of clients to the table, even though they weren't the right ones. But now, what did you do to grow so many clients, and how would you suggest other people do it now that you know what you know?
First of all, you need to niche. You need to niche because then you are seen as the expert in your field. And people, when they see you as an expert, they're more willing to open their wallets to you. You don't have that general pricing or startup pricing going on, but they don't care because it's not the first step in the transaction. They're not going, I have $500, I'm going to buy a website. That's not what's happening. They're like, I want to work with someone who's going to help me build my business. Okay, I can do that. So when you come out with, a high ticket price, they're like, okay. And it doesn't scare them off because they know you can do what you promised.
And you're talking about all the hard stuff. Niching is another one that's difficult because you're just like, yeah, but I'm just getting started. I need to make some money. So I'm just going to take any client that, comes my way. If I just only focus on these people, then aren't these people going to go away?
That's it exactly. But you want them to go away because they're not the right fit for you.
Yeah.
So there's, I call it the 5 powers of niching. So you've got the power of focus. And the reason that we have the power of focus is because I want you to think of it like a light bulb versus a laser. So 100-watt light bulb, 100-watt laser, same amount of power. But a light bulb will light up a room, whereas a laser will cut steel. And we want to cut steel with, with our marketing budget. If we just light up the room with it, it's just filtering everywhere. You're not actually bringing anybody in the door. Whereas if you're focused on, one particular segment, you can bring them in. We call it building your ideal client cloning machine.
Wow. That's a really, really good analogy. And then on top of that, you can create better systems because you know what to expect because the clients are all the same, right?
Exactly. And then you can actually, we call it the power of dominion is one of the other ones, is being the big fish in the small pond. You're not trying to compete with everybody because you're niching. So, you're solving a problem that lots and lots of people have, but you're doing it in a way that we call it an inch deep and a mile wide, so you've got tons of people who have the problem, but it's a very specific problem.
So how is it that you figure out what your niche is going to be?
Well, you need to start out with, what you like to do and who you want to work with. So I like to figure out the client that I want to work with first, and then decide what my niche is, because you know what your business is. So for example, if you were a business lawyer, well, who do I like to work with? Well, I don't like working with startups because they're too much of an issue. I much rather deal with people who are getting ready to do succession planning. Well, then of course, your target market is going to be business owners who are ready to retire. So you're going to push yourself into that, and you're going to niche in succession planning. So it's a combination of the two things. If she had said instead, I hate working with those old dudes, I want to work with startups because everything's fresh and new. Well, then you want to work on things like incorporations. So those things go together.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, another huge benefit of niching is that when you have a narrow field that you're looking for, it's so much easier to target, those people in your marketing. Because now it's, instead of just saying, hey, anybody need a website? You're saying, hey, who do you know that does this and is looking for this? It's so much easier, right?
Oh, that's it exactly.
So what about tools for success? Now, over the years, you've probably built some tools and you probably have bought some tools. So I'm wondering, what are these tools that you're using to get success for yourself and for your clients as well? And how did you find them actually?
Okay, so we call them the three pillars. So every single business owner should have a CRM for their business where they're tracking their leads and their clients. They need to have a lead generating website. So you don't want something that's just a brochure. It needs to actually gather leads for you. And you need to have, a lead magnet. And quite honestly, my favorite lead magnets these days are quizzes, because quizzes have a higher opt-in rate than just a PDF or another piece of information. So there are lots of different quiz software out there. Two of my favorite are Interact, and the second one's Lead Quizzes. And really, the difference is price point.
I wrote that down. You're 100% right. Quizzes are so much better these days. And you can see them all over Facebook. People do these quizzes for free all the time. And they're not getting really anything out of it other than, which Star Wars character are you? But they like to do them. And so it's kind of a win-win. You're giving them something that they like to do that's fun for them. And then out of that quiz, you can figure out if they're your client or not, right?
That's it exactly. So based on their answers, you know what to offer them or what not to offer them.
Yeah, exactly. Or who to send them to if they're not your client, right?
Exactly. The other piece of software I think every business owner should have is booking software, like a calendar booking software.
Yeah.
Because it just makes your life easier. You're not going back and forth trying to figure out what time a meeting is for.
Yeah. Now, I have a question about, booking software, absolutely 100% agree. Quizzes, absolutely agree. About the mailing list though, now, is this something that a person, like when they get into this field, are they going to need to keep on sending out emails every week or every month, or how frequently do they need to be keeping in touch with this list?
So that depends again on your ideal client.
Okay.
How often do they want to hear from you? You want to make sure that you are sending it enough that they remember who you are, but not sending it too much where they're like, oh God, I'm hearing from her again. She's filling up my inbox. So there is a happy medium. I say when you're beginning to market, especially when you're a new business, twice a month is great, and batch write your emails because you don't want, that's the thing that falls off. You're busy, you're doing other things, and then you're not nurturing those leads. And you want to nurture your leads so that when something comes up in your business and you need to bring some new clients in, that's actually how you're going to, that's how you're going to harvest them. It's like you're growing your client list this way.
Love it. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because I know that I've signed up for things and I get way too many emails and I just unsubscribe, even though it's something that I love, because I don't have the time, and it ends up like next thing you know, I've got all these unread emails and that stresses me out. So I
But
think, yeah.
it's bad on the other side too, where you sign up for something and they deliver the lead magnet, and 6 months later you haven't heard from them. They send you an email saying, I'm running this program. You're like, I don't know who you are. Unsubscribe. How'd you get my email?
Yeah.
So there is a happy medium.
Yeah, somewhere in between. And I think you're probably right. Either, twice a month or once a month, something that they can like remember to see your name. And even if they don't read the email, that your name comes through, and even if it stays on red, it's just one message instead of 13 in 2 weeks, right?
That's it exactly.
Right on. Okay, cool. So now, what about learning from the best? Now, I love this topic because there's so many parts to it. How did you learn what you know? Did you do courses? Did you do masterminds? Like what do you like? What is it that you have done to get to where you are right now?
So remember back in 2015 where, I was falling over like that fainting goat. I decided right then and there that my business needed to change. And so I started investing in business coaches and mentors. And so I truly believe in lifelong learning now. I've spent over $100,000 in the last 5 years in learning and growing with amazing mentors. I've studied with some of the best digital marketers across the globe. And I think that's why I can do what I do.
Yeah, I agree. Now, what about people who think that it's too expensive?
You know what? I was there. I've been there. The first program I signed up for was $2,000. And I'm like, I don't know if I can spend this. But I did it. And the thing is, when you do it, commit to the program and actually do the work, and you'll see leaps and bounds in your business. So the next time I invested, I went to it was actually in person back when we could do a lot of in-person things. And I was sitting at the table and I had bought the $75 ticket, and that was all I was going to spend. And the person there made a $25,000 offer. And I was like, I want this. Oh, but I don't want it, but I want this. So I hummed and hawed over 3 days whether or not I was going to do it. And I took them up on it. And it was honestly the best thing I've ever done for my business was invest in myself at that level, because you get to meet other business owners who've also invested at that level. And do you know the saying about the 5 people you spend the most time with is,
Yep.
I forget how it goes, but the 5 people you spend the most time with is, how you're going to show up in the world and what's going to come to you. And it's very, very true. So when you start investing yourself at those higher levels, you just up your game.
Yeah, I think there's just so much to it that it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what it is that makes it work. But like, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you've got skin in the game. So you're more likely to take it seriously. Because I do know that, you can go out there and sign up for free course after free course, and you can get some benefit from that. But there is going to be a plateau pretty quickly. And there's also a really high chance that you're not going to do the course at all. Like you might read the first module and be done, right?
Absolutely.
So
I think that's why it's really important, even when you're doing your lead generation. I think of it now as client acquisition instead of just lead generation.
yeah, exactly. And now, so when you are looking at a new course, What mindset do you get yourself into? Are you looking for something specific out of it, or are you looking at the specific person, or both?
It's both. I don't want to learn from someone who, just doesn't have the same value system as I do, because I'm not going to pay attention the same way. So if they're working their business in a way that is congruent with what I want to do, and they're at the next level. So I want to learn from someone now at this point. I want to learn from someone who is doing $1 million launches instead of someone who's like, you can do a 5-figure launch. I'm like, I know how to do 5-figure launches. I know how to do 6-figure launches. I want to know how to do a 7-figure launch. You show me that. So
Got it. Got it. So so you're always looking at the next level. And how do you find out if that person's actually legit?
So you start looking at their client lists. You start seeing, I follow people for a little while before I decide to invest with them. And you'll know right away if, you'll feel it. You'll feel it.
Yeah, I think that same thing as the bad clients. You feel them before it happens, right?
That's it exactly.
Yeah. So you start to follow them a little bit first. You kind of vet a few of their clients to make sure that this is the kind of the tribe you want to become part of, and then you attend one of their events, or you do something like that.
Yeah, I like it. I like attending an event because then you really get to know their teaching style. I love 3-day events. So now when we do a launch, we do a 3-day event because I want people to get to know my teaching style for the same reason. So I like to attend that event and then see where they're leading you.
Yeah, and
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if the offer doesn't feel right, don't jump in.
Yeah, exactly. And then to make yourself feel better about the money that you're spending, I mean, if you've done your homework, I guess, properly, where you know exactly this person is in the next level and they are where you want to go, then the money won't be a problem once you get there. It's just a matter of making that walk from where you are right now to where they are, right?
Exactly. It's the first commitment piece where you jump in, and then you're going to have that feeling that, maybe even that queasiness in the stomach. Oh my gosh, I just spent $600 on a deposit.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be okay? You have to decide that it is okay. Otherwise, your brain's it's going to start eating away at you. I shouldn't have spent that money. There are other things I need to do with that. But you need to just kind of push past that and know that you've invested in yourself for a reason.
Yeah, and our brains are going to do that regardless. If you don't spend the money and you don't go for the course, your mind's going to start telling you that, oh, maybe I should have done that. Am I making a mistake? Your brain's going to try to protect you either way. So,
our brains they're focused on the negative, and that's because our ancestors needed to be aware of all the danger around them. So I say to my students, you can actually change how you think by just changing one word. So instead of asking yourself, can this work for me? You ask, how can this work for me? It's a really small change, but all of a sudden your brain's coming up with reasons and how it's going to work for you instead of telling you that it can't.
Love it. Okay, so now it's time for your guest solo. So tell me about what's going on in your business then.
So I'm really excited about what's happening in our business. At the end of May, we are launching my Fuel Your Funnel book. So this is specifically designed to help you unlock who your ideal client is, the language that you need to use to attract them, and where to find them online. So it is an ebook format. It's going to start, it's $5 to get started. And then we've got some amazing bonuses that go along with that, including the Fuel Your Funnel course. So there's videos and handouts and all kinds of stuff that you're absolutely going to love.
Wow. So $5, that's a really small investment to get to know you and get to know your style and to figure out if you're someone that someone would want to work with, right?
Exactly.
Brilliant.
But the reason that it's $5 is because then the right people will say, oh yes, I want to read this book and I've got skin in the game to actually do it. Because otherwise we can download all these ebooks and never ever read them.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, I think that that might be a question. People were like, well, why $5? Why not just free? Like, what's the difference? But I think that is the difference, is that even just a little bit of skin in the game will change the way you react to that book, right?
That's it exactly.
I've got a
So
whole directory full of free books that I've never read. And then even just the ones on Audible where I like spend a credit for it, I'm more likely to read to listen to those, right?
that's it exactly. So we want to make sure that if you want that book and you want that information, there's a reason that you want it. So this is just to help you to actually sit down and read the information. And it's not a really long book either, but it doesn't need to be. There's so much information packed in there, and lots of exercises so that you can actually create your ideal client and know how to find them online.
Cool. So now, speaking of which, what would be the type of person or the place in a person's journey where they would get the most out of your program or out of your book?
So I always say it's, if you're feeling unhappy in your business, is when we're, kind of going for you. When it comes to our pieces, you're a heart-centered entrepreneur. So you have a mission that you want to do. So you're a light worker, you're a coach, you're a consultant, and you're trying to make a difference in someone else's life. And you want to be attracting the right people into your business so that you are not feeling exhausted at the end of every day.
Yeah, yeah, which is all of us. But especially I would think light workers or people that are working with other people's energy, because you can get drained pretty quickly if you're attracting the wrong people, right?
That's it exactly.
Right on. And you can work at a higher level if you attract the right people, because then they can energize you rather than taking away and having to kind of recharge yourself every time you go to your next appointment, right?
Exactly. And what's really great about attracting the right clients into your business is birds of a feather flock together. And so when they give you a referral, they are referring another person who's right for your business to you as well. So your referrals become much, much better.
That's a really good point too. Awesome. Thank you so much. Where do we find out more about this?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. So it's fuelyourfunnel.biz, B-I-Z. And that's where you'll be able to get the book.
Awesome. Thank you so much for rocking out with me today, Melanie. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks so much, Tim.
Cool. And to the listeners, make sure you subscribe, rate, and comment. We'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar podcast.